Hello, fellow Papper people. I would like to welcome you as your cult leader to the first meeting of our newly formed cult. That is the CPAP Christian Cat Channel cult. Now, we mainly focus on APAP being trash. That's primarily our focus, but we're just going to name it the CPAP Christian Cat Channel cult. Our logo can be like a C with like exponential 5 up in the upper right-hand corner. Now, as a newly founded cult, we are going to have people lashing out at us. And we need to know, as a cult, how we're going to respond to those attacks on our character. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. But first, I need to make a few things clear. Now, this person completely misses the point in attacking me. And the nice thing about auto machines is they can be set to run either way. But non-auto, being the cheaper one, gives you no choice at all. Dealers love to sell stuff you can't use. Mo money, bruh. The DMEs here used to run ex-PAP help groups. After I pointed out to the attendees that APAPs can run either way, the meetings stopped. Now, let me tell you, I am a fan of APAP machines. In that, if you compare this to the Amish have a very set way of living, but yet they also have Rumspringa, where they can go out and party like absolute heathens for a full year and then come back to the Amish community. Our cult is the exact same way. I don't care if you use APAP for a short period of time to see how you respond to it and try to find the most appropriate pressure for you. It'll get you close, but not quite there. And you can actually see that and you can feel that. And it gives you a chance to compare what APAP feels like compared to CPAP. So in that, I like it. This is our own version of Rumspringa. You can use APAP for a very short period of time before changing to straight CPAP. But on that note, we have this comment. And this comment is even better. You know what? I don't give a flying fig about your wanting to argue about CPAP versus APAP. Some people do best with straight CPAP. Some do better with APAP. Lies. I am uninterested in either because they don't work for me. I need a bilevel. And that sums up my position. Get an auto bilevel. For one, it's capable of CPAP and APAP. It's also capable of bilevel. So you can use your APAP, you have your Rumspringa for a while, you move to CPAP, and if you decide, oh crap, I think I have upper airway resistance syndrome, you shift to bilevel and you're solved. You don't have to go jumping around from machine to machine. So that's our premise, guys. This is the cult of Lanky, otherwise known as the CPAP Christian Cat Channel cult. And right here, we basically have all of the allegations against me, trying to poke holes in us, really, about our cult. So there's basically a lot of things in here about my ignorance. Oh, Jocelyn, are they calling you an ignoramus? No, that would be ignoramus. Oh, that's what I said. That's definitely not what you said. Oh, my bad. So we're going to go through all of these criticisms one by one, proving once and for all that our cult is the best cult on the planet. One thing before we really get ripping here, I want to make clear is I used to think that APAPs were the best. The doctors came in, the reps came in, they're all like, yeah, APAPs are the best. These things adjust automatically for people. You don't have to do anything. You put them on this big range and it just works. It's great. You'll love it. But then you see the real world and you see how these things actually do perform in the real world and how they actually respond and how people, this is going to sound like it's overdoing it, but how people suffer on these pressures that aren't quite right with APAP. And so that's what this cult is about. It's about, I used to not be in the cult, and then through my own enlightenment, I found that in all seriousness, APAP is not the way to go. It is a bad decision. And I'm going to go ahead and show you why in this entire video. As I'm deflecting all these hurtful comments about how stupid I am. Stupid. And on that, with our last video, some of these people, they don't want to hear the message. Look at this. I couldn't make it through much of the video. His constant plugging of his discount code to buy supplies tells me enough about his motivations. That said, I guess we all have to pay the bills. Now, of course, the video they're talking about is the CPAP cult leader being myself. Now, I hope it's okay with you if I made $12.29. Yes, That's my motivation. Now, guys, on that note, since this is our first cult meeting, you can go ahead and tithe. Tithe through the super chats. That's the best way to tithe. You can also become a YouTube member as well as a Patreon supporter. Now, as a cult, we need to be in unison. We need to have the same kind of look. And so today I'm going to say cpapsupplies.com, the official DME of our cult. Go ahead and check out the Bleep Dreamport mask. Now, this mask is great for anyone. If you have long hair, you don't like mask lines, this is 100% the CPAP or bilevel interface for you. Holds onto your nose with adhesive. It really stays out of your way. I'm going to do a video coming up on it, but it's a fantastic mask. The great news about it, and I will have this in my videos, they have new exhalation ports on it, or like a deflector, so it prevents it from blowing all over the place. But really, you can't beat it in terms of no leak at all whatsoever with the adhesives. Now, you can still leak out of your mouth. That for sure is a possibility. But in terms of the mask itself, you can move around. You can pretty much lay on your face, and it can't be dislodged. So with that, with the no mask lines and the no messing up your hair, causing hair indentations for the entire day, you really can't beat the Bleep Dreamports or the Bleep Eclipse. Now, the difference between the two, the Bleep Dreamport, they kind of plug in. The Bleep Eclipse is held on with magnets. And you know how we love our magnet technology. So check out the sponsor of this video, cpapsupplies.com. Long ago, I did a video showing APAP, and I was showing all the algorithms. So you have the regular APAP algorithm, you have the auto set or auto for her algorithm, and then you have the soft response. Now, they are claiming, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I researched these heavily. I've worked in the field for a very long time. And so I tried these pressures out, trying to keep everyone in mind. So with that, let's go ahead and get on with it. Prove him wrong. Sure. He states he typically needs a pressure of 12 on his side. And then he did his experiment on his back, where he claims he typically needs more pressure. He then configures the APAP mode to a minimum of 8, at least 4 centimeters left or less than he knows he needs. Now, we have to couple that with another one because that's taken somewhat out of context. He introduced a major change to his sleep ritual, not using the VCOM, something he stated multiple times is important to good quality sleep, I'm gonna add for him, but didn't give his body time to adjust. Okay. So while that's true, actually now at the time it was 12. I used 12 and I like to use VCOM with that. However, at the time people were getting on me about VCOM and how we don't know if it messes up the recording in Oscar. How do we know that data is valid? So in a way of trying to mitigate that, I took the VCOM out because it's not like I used the VCOM for my whole life. I really just started using it at that time. I think it was, I want to say maybe 3 to 4 months at that time. That could be off. But I wanted to take the VCOM out so it took that level of uncertainty out of the equation. So if I use a lower pressure, sometimes my cheeks puff out. That's just something that happens. VCOM creates a situation where that doesn't happen. So I took it out when I did the trial. So that's the reason I did it. So now if you take that pressure of, let's call it 11, because I believe that's what it was, 11 I could get by without it. Most people say that I see online on forums is drop it down 3 below that. So that's why I started at 8. And I gave it a range to go all the way up to 15. That's a fairly large range, but it really doesn't matter. And I'll show you some of that in just a minute. Okay, so why did I do the experiment also on my back? It's not that I did it on my back. I started off on my back because I wanted to give the APAP a chance to adjust how it adjusts for a normal person. I personally stay on my side all night, but that doesn't help the viewer who may or may not stay on their side all night. People tend to flip-flop all over the place, and I wanted to see how the APAP responds to those changes in all situations. So at the beginning of the nights, I started on my back, and then inevitably I moved to my side. So you'll see that in just a minute here. He demonstrates a complete lack of understanding of the soft mode and the for her mode, making the claim that soft mode is basically for her mode, but without the for her label, so dudes would use it. This is wrong. Yes, the default for her mode is soft mode, But there are other differences in the for her mode algorithm. Specifically, for her mode will not increase the pressure beyond 12 because of apneas. He is conducting an experiment where he states his needs probably go blah, 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 whatever. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the algorithm from the actual website. This is straight from ResMed. I will go ahead and link this in the description box. Check it out. So APAP for her mode. The for her is similar to the regular AutoSet algorithm with the following modifications. The reduced rate of pressure increments designed to help prevent arousals. Slower pressure decays, meaning it's not going to drop back down as fast as it would with a regular algorithm. Treats apneas up to 12 and continues to respond to flow limitations and snore up to 20. And then a minimum pressure that adjusts according to the frequency of apneas. If 2 apneas occur within a minute, pressure reached in response to the second apnea will become the new minimum treatment. Meaning the floor, if you have 2 apneas, it's going to increase up to like, if you're at 8, you have 2 apneas, it's going to go up to 10 or going to go up to whatever. And then that's the new floor. It can't go below that for that night until you turn it on the next day. Those are the differences. I totally get it. We're on the same page there. And then the soft response. This is important. So patients who are sensitive to faster changes in pressure during therapy, AutoSet response can be set to either standard or soft. If set to soft, patients will receive a gentler pressure increase during the therapy. Now, when I had the meeting with the ResMed rep long ago, they said, we are doing this. We added the soft response because guys were not buying the for her machine because it said for her. And so they said, let's add a soft response. So yes, the one difference is, well, let me say what it does the same, is it increases much, much, much slower. That's not a good thing. This is not something to hang your hat on if you're going to argue against our cult. You want the pressure to go up and go up fast, and you want it to stay there because all of these algorithms, even the most aggressive one, does not increase the pressure fast enough. It never stays high enough. And if it does, when it rarely does for the wrong reason, it just barely touches it and then right back down. This is not good for people arguing against our cult. So I want to make sure that you catch this. The default for her mode is soft mode, meaning when you have it on the for her algorithm, soft mode is on, so it goes up slower. If you turn it to the regular APAP mode with soft mode, it also goes up slower. So it pretty much is the exact same thing with the exception of the base floor level. The low as it's going to go, it won't come back down below that level. That's a really bad argument, man. And I say that because I'm focusing on this one right here. He's conducting an experiment where he states his needs pressure are probably 13 and he's using an algorithm that has limitations that cap it at 12. That's only for obstructive apneas. So I'm going to hold you to your own standards. Caps it at 12, and then let's go back to the actual definition. It caps it at 12, but it continues to respond to flow limitations and snoring up to 20. So I did not hamper how high it can go. And let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to show you my actual data from these nights. Now you can see right here, this is for her, and we have the response is standard. Let's go ahead and pull out of this. And you're going to see really there's no problem because I said my pressure needs are 12. It never comes even close to 12. Never even close. And this is the for her version. I never have any apneas that are back to back. So these are the subtle events. It should still have the opportunity to go up to 20. But let's see right here, when it reaches its peak, this is at its highest. It's at 10. These are increasing because of airflow reductions, flow limitations. I can see flow limitations right here. This happens to be REM. That's why it went up so high. This sure looks like a flow limitation to me. Look at all these flow limitations. This is an awakening. I'm waking up there. I'm waking up over here. There's 2 arousals in a very short period of time, and it's not doing jack crap. Look, it's still at its highest. We have a really clear flow limitation right there. How come it's not going up? The worst part is it's not even seeing it. There's nothing here. Where is it? And if I'm in the for her mode, it should be going up. Let me show you from the ResMed site itself. So this is a graph of the standard algorithm versus the for her algorithm. Look at this. It's supposed to respond to each flow limited breath. Look at that. What does that look like? Where have we seen that pattern before? Does it look like, oh, I don't know. Does it look like that at all? Does it have the exact same look to that? And it's supposed to go up on every move. Where's the pressure? The pressure's going down. Why is it going down? So then if you have several of them in succession, if we have a typical algorithm, it's supposed to go up much faster. I'll show you that in a minute. But it should take care of them until our breathing looks like this. Nice, full, upside down U shapes. That's kind of weird. So now we have, I only did one night on each setting. That's a complete ignorance as to the sample size and variability of sleep from night to night. I don't know about that. I use a fixed rate of 13 with VCOM in, and when I use the same mask and I have the same leak rate, my data looks the exact same. I don't know about this variability from night to night, unless you're on an APAP, because the pressure is varying night to night. That is a flaw in the APAP algorithm. Let's go to a regular night and check that out. Now this is a soft response. We don't want that. We want the hardcore response. Here we have APAP, 8 to 15, response, standard. This is able to do whatever it's got to do. And we have, look at that, that's beautiful. Oh, my bad. That's a position change. The algorithm of APAP is so bad that it increased the pressure. Thank God, because I'm having these flow limitations. Thank God it increased it, but for the wrong reason. Womp womp. And that just persists throughout the night. Pressure's dropping like an absolute rock. We have two flow limitations right here that it's seeing, and yet the pressure's still dropping, allowing me to wake up. Well, thank God for this APAP algorithm. That's fantastic. I've never been more proud to be in a cult. He demonstrates ignoramus, of the ResMed algorithm. It is well understood that the algorithm always attempts to return to minimum. That's kind of the problem. The exception being the for her algorithm, which we already said that, establishes a new baseline, which it doesn't really seem to do either, unless you have two obstructive apneas. That's never been the problem I've had with APAP. It seems to go up just fine if people have obstructive apneas. My problem with it, let's go ahead and check it out again in case this hasn't sunk in yet. This is the aggressive algorithm. Here's an area where I have no leaking. This should not be a problem. No leaking, pressure's increasing. Why does my breathing look so bad? Look at these flow limitations are everywhere. Look at this, I'm waking up. My airway's collapsing right here. It already increased. It's collapsing. And then it starts going down again.
Now's a great time to join the cult and tithe handsomely.
His ignorance of the for her algorithm is irresponsible, given it's available since the S9 for her is well documented in the clinician's manual. Yeah, I know. Here it is. This is the whole manual. All those little screenshots I showed you, they're from that. It's not like it's real robust. And here's the other problem I have with it. Now, I'm not going to showbiz myself. That's coming for later. His ignorance of the standard versus soft response, deducing it's just for her in disguise. Not really. It decreases the speed, the pressure goes up, just like the for her algorithm. If you want to hang your hat on the new baseline that goes, it's not going to increase for obstructive apneas above 12, you go right on ahead and hang your hat on that. But that does absolutely nothing at all for this. Pressure's at its highest, and I'm still seeing flow limit. I'm just picking random samples. It's not like I had these preset. Random samples, it sees the flow limitation, yet the pressure's still going down like a rock. That's wacky. And where is his video on a properly configured APAP? I don't know. I've never seen one. That's why I asked you for one. You're the one that has an APAP that seems to be set so friggin' beautifully. Let's see it. Show me a video. I'm doing a screen grab right now. You can go through your Oscar data all day, zoom in on all kinds of stuff, and you can prove me wrong. Almost always when someone asks for therapy configuration, they are advised to increase the minimum. Jason should absolutely not be unaware of this. Yeah, I am aware of that. It's a stupid way to do it. If you're going to increase the minimum, you might as well put the minimum on your optimal pressure. So for me, I should have put my minimum on 12. If I were to do it today with a VCOM, I would put my minimum on 13 with the VCOM in. But you know what? I don't want the pressure to go higher, because when it does, I get really bad aerophagia. So why the hell would I put APAP on a range of 13 to 14 or 13 to 15? One, it's a small adjustment, but it makes a huge difference in my therapy. And I can't use 12 because that's too low. I feel worse on that. So you make that make sense for me with your data. Plus, I see you have a lot of chums on here on this forum, which, by the way, they're talking about my motivations being money-based, but they're on a forum that is owned by a DME that sells CPAP equipment. It's a big-ass advertisement for the same thing I'm doing. And then this is the really wacky thing. I'm gonna pull this out. But thank you for watching, taking the time to watch the video. I don't have the time to respond civilly to Lenky's arguments. They're illogical and in some cases mathematically invalid. Oh, Jocelyn, I didn't see you doing any equations. Also, thank you for taking the time to point out Lenky's real ignorance of how the algorithm works, particularly since the information about the differences in the algorithms is well documented and not difficult to find. 100% right. It is not difficult to find. It is all right here. All the screen grabs I took, like I said, they're in here. So here's a for her mode screen grab that I did. I mean, that tells you all about it. So this is the respiratory effort related arousal reporting for the for her in all modes. But as we can see in my data, that doesn't exactly pan out real well because I'm seeing respiratory effort related arousals that aren't being flagged at all. Let's just go find some more. Well, that's a freaking clear one. That's not flagged as anything. There's not even a flow limitation there. Wow. I am in the right cult. So the problem I have here, I just want to say something here. I think this person, they say some cases mathematically invalid. I'm going to go with college professor, just a hunch. The main problem with the algorithm is it simply doesn't get high enough, fast enough, and it doesn't stay there. It has the full ability to go up high, it just never does so. And if you want to look at my data, I'm going to go ahead and show you some things. So this is the aggressive algorithm. And let's just look at it. The aggressive algorithm, the normal one, with the standard response. Let's go ahead and scroll through the data and you tell me. What we're looking for is a general flatness. All of these spikes up here, that's no good. We don't want those. But I'm going to scroll through kind of fast and just look at how many spikes up that you see. And it just looks very, very active. Very active. Okay, now I want to go to a day, very recently, me using a fixed pressure. Now this is a whole night. I mean, I think we can all agree just looking at that looks a whole lot better being on a fixed pressure and the leak is very stable, which is, again, so you could easily argue that the algorithm that I used had a high leak. And that's no surprise. When you're on a pressure that's too low, if you have tape on, you're still going to be working your mouth to try to draw a deeper breath in, and so the tape's going to come off pretty much every time. So if you're at the right pressure, this is a great visual for when you're at the right pressure, your tape tends to stay and you don't mouth breathe, even though I'm at a higher pressure. But let's take a look at this. Let's scroll through. It sure looks flat to me. I mean, except for the REM periods. Like right here is REM, but that sure looks nice and smooth. A smooth REM. Look at all these smooth transitions there. Beautiful. Now we do have some arousals. Like here I'm seeing some. This looks like a little sleep disordered breathing event probably. But as a whole, I'm sleeping pretty well. This is definitely better than APAP. You know what? My bad. I'm actually, this is on a fixed pressure of 12. So this is a pressure that actually doesn't really work that great for me. I'm not really sure why I tried that. Maybe I was experimenting. That's interesting. So this is a pressure that's lower than what I feel is my optimal pressure. And it's still better than AutoPAP. Make that make sense. Show me some of your graphs. I would love to see them if you're on AutoPAP and it works well for you. That'd be great. That'd be really good. All right, cult members, now we got to talk about some tough stuff here. Now, being a CPAP cat, Christian cat channel, we need to wear the same attire. I'm kind of liking this. I'm liking this. The hood we're going to have down, though, because I'm thinking hairstyle, they usually have like a weird little bald head and like a man bun type thing with just a little pocket of hair. But I'm thinking we have the hair pocket here coming down. I'm thinking we braid it. Stay with me. We braid it so it hangs down. That way we always have to do one of these and give people side-eye just so the hair thing hangs down here or hangs down here. And then we could like side-eye them out here like, like what you say? You say it APAP's better? and we could have this. Or if we're like this, we have the thing hanging down, and we just have to constantly, annoyingly flip it out of the way. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I'm set on this. I'm going to leave it up to you guys in the comment section. You tell me what kind of footwear we should be wearing. I was thinking some kind of an off-brand knockoff Crocs, but I feel like that's been kind of overdone now. So let me know what you guys think of this. Tithe heavily. Check out the sponsor of this video, cpapsupplies.com. Don't forget discount code LeftySummer. You save 25% off. And then also go ahead and pick up some Mass Bright on Amazon. We're going to change the name of that to Colt Juice. Oh man, this is too long. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Clean your stinky mask with some
Colt
Mask
Juice.
available at Amazon.
Thank you to all watching, but an extra thick thanks, buddy, to Doug Toombs, Jason Georgiades, Patricia Espelong, Sarvesh Joshi, Stuart Hetherington, Mona Swearingen, Chungtu Chen, Edward Steiner, Erin Stevenson, Deborah Permute, and Shannon Kerr, and another slightly less thick thanks, buddy, to all the other YouTube members, Patreon supporters, and other stuff.